Hey everybody, good afternoon. I know this is an unusual live because it is Sunday. I'm here with the lovely Rita.
Hi.
And she has just taken off her nails. So, how do I turn it around? No, turn around. Hold on, sorry. Trying to turn my pad so that we can see the pictures. All right, I'm just gonna have to do it like that. All right, cool. So she has just had her acrylics taken off. Now, she's never had gel, right? You never had gel?
I don't think so.
Gel looks like this.
Is it the dip? No, I have not had that.
She's never had gel, which is extremely common. A lot of people think they've had gel, and they're like, oh, yeah, I've had gel. And then you talk to them, and they've done dip, or they've done something else that is obviously not gel. So she's never had gel. She's also never had sculptured nails. So she's going to get her first taste of forms. And some of these are going to be nice and tricky because the sidewalls have gone way up with removal, which is fine. We'll just be talking a lot about cutting forms and doing them properly. Hey, Gail. Hey, Kathy. Nice of y'all to join us today. So I'm just prepping. They got the acrylic off really well, but there's little bits here and there, and so you just want to make sure that everything is prepped as good as possible. Now, if you're watching and you have had problems with doing full sets, please feel free to post any questions and what's going on. And yes, before you all say, what the heck is up with your nails? I know. These are about to be done with the new glitter. I don't know if you saw my post. This is the new Mardi Gras glitter that I'm sending out with everyone's orders. And so I'm going to do mine probably later today, if not in the next 2 days. But we did like this fun little massage class as a date night last night. And so since I had to have them, you know, they're like, please have your nails short. And so I was like, well, since I have to do my nails again anyway, I'll just wait until after that and then redo them. So that is why I have no nails. But see how tiny and midget my hands are? This is why I have nails on normally. I have really small hands.
You're
Look at
tiny.
my thumb. I have tiny fingers.
Yeah.
And so if I don't have nails on, my hands look weird. So my nails will be back in a hot minute, and it'll be a good thing. So just real carefully etch around. You want to make sure everything is really, really, really good and etched. Eileen said pre-camp class. That's right. This is a pre-camp class. So if you are wanting or needing to take a different workshop, but you wanted to see a sculpture nail class, I will go through all of that here. She's picked, I think Prim, unless she changes her mind, which is possible, because she has lots of time to decide what color exactly she wants. But she's doing a fancy photo shoot because she's supermodel.
No. Just have tattoos. That's all it takes.
That's fun. I only have one tattoo on the inside of my ankle. And I've had it forever. Like my dad was still alive. My dad's been gone for a long time. So when I got it, you know, before I got it, my mom's like, you really should wait. Like, give it a year. Decide what you want and then give it a year and think about it and make sure it's really what you want. Because my mom's like so Southern Baptist,
like
you know.
Body is a temple.
Just not into tattoos or anything like that. Like not preachy about it, but makes her uncomfortable. And I was like, all right. So I waited a year and then I went, still want it. So I went in and, you know, figured out who had the best reviews and all that kinds of stuff. And went in and had it done. And it was so funny because my dad, you know, being married to my mom, couldn't really say anything about whether he liked it or not. But people would come in and he'd be like, go show him what you got. Go show him what you got. And I'm like, he so likes it. You know, he can't hide this. So it was pretty funny.
My tattoo, I remember the first time I went big, I just told my tattoo artist, I loved everything he did. I would want it on my wall. I would want it on my body. I would want it on my car. I mean, I love all the art he does is just amazing to me. That's so awesome. I told him, do whatever you want. And I walked out of there with a full chest piece and it was an outline.
Doing whatever you want with a tattoo
sleeve.
is some bravery right
there. A full
there.
sleeve. I got home, I walked in, my mom was watching my kid, and her and my dad were kind of contemplating getting back together. I walk in, I mean, I have this is like, full outline chest, arm. Nobody says one word about it. I was like, must not be a pot. They must not like it.
Right.
And then my dad gets home, he flings open the door and he's like, that's my girl. Like, my mom was like, that's when I knew we couldn't get back together.
Oh my gosh. So when you guys clean off the nails with your alcohol or prep and wipe, make sure you're keeping on the plate of the nail. You don't want to take your wipe and be dragging oils from their skin onto the nail. So as you're watching me scrub it really well, I was staying on the surface of the nail. So you want to make sure you do that.
My nails are so embarrassing.
No, they're not. They're totally fine. They're actually not as damaged. I was a little worried when you're like, oh, they're all messed up. I was worried they'd have like huge rings of fire, but you're actually in pretty darn good condition for what I've seen. I mean, I've seen people with basically holes drilled into their nail.
Oh,
yeah,
no.
It's been bad. So it's not bad at all. All right, so we are going to start the process of getting forms on her, which she's never seen these probably before in her life. So you want to be able to fit these so that the edge of their nail, the sidewalls of their nail, is where your form is covering. So if you look at this, you basically have to go up this high to get it to where the form will be on the sidewalls. So to do that, you need to cut this shape of her nail into the form. So it sometimes takes a few cuts. So when it comes to full sets, this is sometimes quite a bit of time getting your forms to fit well. So make sure you book enough time to be able to do that, because, you could take a good 20 minutes just to get your form fit good. All right, so see, now we've got the sidewalls being able to go all the way up to the side there. You want to make sure your form isn't overlapping. So you want to separate your form out just a little bit. Press on the sides, hold it up. Squeeze together on the end, and then these forms have a tab here. So if you feel like your nail is, see how they overlapped? If it's going down too much, you can rotate, open your form and rotate your form up, and that will make your nail come more straight up. All right, nail one. And they're all going to be a little bit different, and it helps when you go to do it to hold it up and slide down, and it helps you see this corner is going to have to be cut more than this corner as you look at that, right? Or I'm sorry, this corner, the opposite corner. It's hard to explain sometimes, easier to do. Try that.
Do you have to do this every time?
No, the first time only. And then if you happen to actually break a nail. But as Heidi told you, it's pretty rare for people to break nails. If you do break a nail, it's typically going to be in the first couple of weeks. And that's simply because I would have done something wrong, but it's pretty darn rare, especially if your form is fitting perfect. So you can see it fits really perfect right to there, and this is underneath the nail there, so we're good. Now I like to put my tab on the back. It just gives a little bit more sturdiness to the form. This one might actually be shaped exactly as hers is. And we're going square. If you need to taper it in quite a bit, or their fingers need a lot more of a C-curve, you can notch your forms. So it's not necessary all the time, but if you notch, see where that fold is on each of those? If you notch those, you can pull in your C-curve a little bit tighter.
How long have you been doing these?
I am almost 20 years in, so a hot minute.
With nails or gel?
Nails and gel. I started doing gel a few months after I started doing nails in the salon. In school, we had an educator come and teach gel, and I was at that point, I'd actually been doing my own nails for a couple of years. So I did all of the educator's nails. Like, my nails looked good already, but they were all acrylic. So I was really interested in what, this gel was, because 20 years ago, gel was not as big as it is now. So I was just really interested in it, I kind of knew some of the benefits of it, but I didn't really get a chance to mess with it. So we had an instructor come in, and they taught us, all this stuff, okay, this is how you do everything. And then I did a set on a girl that in the school, I'd been doing her nails for a long time. And so I was like, oh, this is, terrific. I'll do a set of these on you. We'll see how they go. And I knew how nails lasted on her and didn't break. They were fine. And within a week, like, so many of her nails were breaking. I'm like, what is going on? I'm like, I did this exactly every step. I would say, is this right? Is this right? Is this right? She's like, yeah, it looks great. And then I ended up with broken nails. So I was like, I hate gel. I'm not going to do it. Don't like it. Doesn't hold up. So I didn't do it right out of school. I went into a salon and did acrylic. But of course they were like, can you have anything that's no less smell? I said, not at this point. And then I went to some trade shows and sat and stalked some people, like the lovely Lisa Comfort and Trang, who many of my nail tech friends know exactly who those people are. And I stalked them, and I sat at their booths for hours and hours and hours and was like, what are you doing? Okay, good. Now what are you doing? Okay, good. Now what are you doing? Like, I was that really annoying person. And it was really helpful, because eventually I was able to understand what was going on. And Trang specifically spent a lot of time with me. I wanted him to show me, his competition nails, and he was like, I can't do it on you. You have terrible fingers. I'm like, I know, but I still want to see. Fake it. Like, he wasn't a big fan of that, but I did. I made him take it.
Terrible fingers?
I have awful model fingers.
Okay.
So models have twice the length as they do width. Mine are nothing even close to that. So he had to like pretend like my nail bed went to like there.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to see it, so I made him do it. And luckily he complied. But he taught me about, the proper arch and how nails that are flat are going to break and da-da-da-da-da. And I was like, oh. So he was, between him and I think Lisa, she was working Easy Flow at the time. I get to go to Lisa's class, there might still be room. So if anyone's looking for a class, it's in LA, the beginning of March. And I am going to that because I'm always about learning. So it's like a 3-day class. And even though it's probably going to be a lot of acrylic, I will do it because there's still more to learn even if you're doing acrylic and you never do acrylic. So anyway, you can message me if you're interested in wanting to know about that. But flights to LA are typically pretty darn cheap. Speaking of flights, there is a camp that I'm looking at for Nail Camp East because I know some of you, or West. I know some of you have been anxiously waiting. So sorry, total tangent.
Oh no.
Because it just came up to my mind. I finally got an email back from another facility who has space on one of the weekends in November that I would like. It's about an hour north of San Diego and about an hour and a half south of LAX. Only thing that I'm a little bit worried about is that the cabins have bathrooms but not showers. They're in a bathhouse that they say is 1 minute walk from any cabin. So I'm going to put that out there, and if all my Nail Camp Westers want to like chime in and let me know if you don't think that would even matter, then we might have a location. So that would be nice. My other locations, one of them was like, well, we can get you in the 22nd. I'm like, I'm not coming in the week of Thanksgiving. I'm sorry. No one's coming the week of Thanksgiving. It's not happening. So it's been a little bit tricky to find the weekend that I want. Sarah, we're excited to see you at camp. Sarah Butterfield is coming to camp for the first time, so that's exciting. Oh, Tammy is so sweet. Tammy says, I have to say, you've done an amazing job showing how to fit a form. I've been in the business 26 years and have not seen anyone explain it as well as you. Well, that's awesome. I'm so glad. That's my goal, is to always help people out. There's a little bit of prep I missed right here. Do you guys see that color difference? That's either acrylic or something else, and I'm so finicky when I do a new set that I will typically try to make sure all of that is gone. So I do that, make sure I wipe that dust away, and now it's gone. All right, so let's check that. Oh, there's still a little hairline. That's probably small enough that I'm okay with it. Okay, so this one, if I were going to try to fit the form under her nail as it is, look how angled down that would have to be. To have me fit this properly, there's a lot of form that I need to cut to make this fit her nail. So you need to check those and then cut and give her a comfortable angle, because you don't want them pinching. So if you ever have a form that you feel like got something shoved under your finger, let me know. You would notice. You probably would have already complained, but you've been so quiet. I'm chatty today. All right, this corner right here has a little bit too much still. So there's different form fits for different shapes as well. If I'm doing a long extension, hers are just pretty normal salon length. But if I was doing really long extensions and I wanted a really good taper or stiletto, I would probably make teddy bears on the sides of mine, and that would eliminate the skin on the side of the fingers, and I would be able to really taper that in. So again, see the form is overlapping here. I want to make sure that this isn't going to be angling down a ton. So I'm going to rotate the form up a bit and then close that again. So see how it's good? It's not angling. I'd rather have it angle up a little bit than angle down. You don't want angled down nails. All right, here's a little smidge here too. All right, and Sarah says she can't wait. Take classes with all the talented nail techs, and you're going to make so many friends. I think that's one of the best parts of camp, is that you're really going to make a lot of really awesome friends, so that's pretty exciting. Just got a little bit of nail left on this one, so this one will be a tad easier.
Should they asked me if they should cut it, and next time no?
No. It's easier for me if you don't.
Okay. If it ever comes up again.
Yeah. Yeah, I had to go have them removed because, like, probably the bane of my existence is removing acrylic from places. It flies in my eyes. I get blinded. It flies all over everywhere. All right, it's nice and tight under there. Good. Okay, forms are done. When you go to close your form, some like to ask me, how do you keep it from unraveling? Just grab the corner like that and then close it. And that'll keep it from unraveling in your drawer. Okay. So I'm not going to be using pinching clips on her. I really only do that for sculptured nails or if I'm doing a really crazy extension. She just had nails taken off, so I'm not, although she did have some broken. Let me try. I'm going to do just a little bit of no lift, just to make sure these are dehydrated. On my regular clients, if I'm doing fills with Trinity, I don't bother. But I just use a little bit on a brush. If it seems like it's too wet and spreading too fast, dab it off on your towel. That pinky, it spread fast, so that's why I dabbed it. So these should probably dehydrate pretty quickly because she just took them off today. She's gonna have that major realization of how heavy her product was when I put these nails on her, because a lot of people that have never had gel go from acrylic to gel and are like, oh my gosh, the weight difference is unreal. It'll feel like you don't have anything on your nails, which, to be real, when you're wearing acrylics, you don't think you really feel like you have much on your nails, but you'll feel the difference. All right, so I've been doing this little trick lately because mostly I don't do full sets too often. I have all my regulars. So when I have to repair a nail or something, I actually use Trinity for my bonding gel, and then I do my extension with Natural Pink. So that's going to be what I'm going to be doing on these. But I'm going to be doing 2-step extensions. So you're going to see me building the extension out with Natural Pink. So she was a little bit wet. These were also put on a little bit wet, so they're going to take a minute longer to dry. Show product, please. All right, Trinity. Trinity is a runnier gel. This is a 3-in-1, thus the word Trinity. I smashed this one. Natural Pink is one that I had to fight to keep. So this is my favorite non-self-leveling gel. Looks like hair gel, huh? Just never seen anything quite like it. But it's fantastic for doing extensions. Why don't I use Trinity for extensions? Trinity is very runny, and so to do a fill, I have to get it in the light within 1 or 2 nails. If I'm trying to build an entire nail with it, I would have to do it in like 3 parts because it would just run too much. It's also pretty flexible, and so Trinity is also quite flexible, which is fantastic for fills, but not so great for new extensions. This is my primer. It's no lift. It's available on my website. It's just your standard like someone from Boston. Standard no lift, standard acid primer from my website, and it's really just to give a good dehydration. But see how my brush was wetter when I started with these, and so they're taking longer to dry. These are ready. You could next go to a fix-it, but I've found that I don't need a fix-it if I'm using Trinity, so I don't bother. So I'm going to go ahead and I'll start with this nail. Even though I normally start there, this is still drying, and you want to make sure that it's completely dry. So I'm just going to do this like a bonding gel, where I'm just brushing over the whole nail. Because Natural Pink does not have bonding gel built into it, so you need to put down a bonding gel. You could either do Trinity, you could do OptiBond, which is my old good faithful. But what I've started doing, the reason I started doing it with Trinity is because I know a lot of nail techs out there are a big like, how few pots can I have? How easy can you make this for me? And I literally can do every set of nails I do with these 2 pots. So I've been doing it like that for a while, just because I want to make sure that if I'm doing it like this and it holds up, then I know it'll hold up for you guys. And that's important for me to, as an educator, you want an educator that does nails on a regular basis and can, if they're going to suggest something to you, you want to make sure they know what they're talking about. I was actually pretty surprised at Trinity when I first used it. When they told us Natural was going away and I wanted to cry, I was like, okay, I'll try to see what I can do about using something else. But nothing else in the performance line works like Natural. Go ahead, and that's going to go in the light right here. Okay. And you just want to make sure your thumb gets in there as well. Sometimes people don't quite get their thumb in. So it was kind of one of those things where I was like, I had to do it because I really had to see how it worked, because I didn't have a choice. I'm not a fan of applying a nail or 2 at a time and having to flash cure it, because I've been so used to using Natural for 15 years where I can do 4 nails and cure it, or all 5 nails and cure it. So it's definitely a learning curve for me. I had to get outside my comfort zone, but it has been amazing. I have such great results with all my clients, and it's knocked down a couple of steps because all I do is Trinity. I don't have to use primers or fix-it on my fills. I just go straight to Trinity and then color. So it's a real time saver as well, but it was certainly not something I was expecting to do, and I wasn't expecting it to be as good as it is, to be honest. Isn't that sad? When would you use X-Bond? If you wanted to use X-Bond in place of this step, you could. So you could use X-Bond instead of Trinity for your bonding gel. And see how it works out for you. And, you guys can always test stuff too. If you have Trinity and you have X-Bond, do one hand with X-Bond and one hand with Trinity and take notes. I had a great picture. I wish I still had it. I don't know where it is. But I had done one hand with Shine On and one hand with Luxio Gloss on a client. And the difference was incredible. Granted, they have improved Shine On since I did that. But at the time, Shine On was like the original formula. And it looked really, really shiny the day you did it. But then it didn't hold up the shine.
Take it out of the side?
Yep. Okay. And do I use Adhere at all? I do not. You can, but I don't. So Adhere is one of those things, like when they came out with the first 3 gels for deciding how I want to do this while I work. They came out with the first few performance gels, and Adhere was the bonding gel that they made for those. They didn't have X-Bond at the time, and they wanted to give that line its own bonding gel. So that's what Adhere is. Do I use it now? I don't. Because you can use X-Bond, you can use Trinity, but you can. Okay, so this time I'm not going to do it that way. I'm going to go ahead and roll it off in the middle of the nail. And what that does is create a mound right where my stress area is. And then I'm going to work it out towards the side and towards the side. And then float it down. The way I threw it on the first nail is how I do it sometimes, but it's not a very good visual for learning how to do this. It's much easier if you do it the way I show you how to do it. So again, you're going to take a nice big ball, roll it off your nail, kind of give it a little bit of a circle, and then I go to where the stress and the nail bed meet, stress and nail bed meet, and pull it down to the length you want. And what I'll do is after I've done a couple nails like this, I'm going to just have her glance and tell me if that's going to be long enough or if she thinks she might want it longer, because you can't really go longer, but you can always go shorter. So I will typically check when I get to a couple nails in. So go ahead and look at these and see where I've ended it and tell me if you're going to maybe want them a little longer or, if anything, a little bit shorter.
I mean, they probably, if anything, shorter.
Okay, perfect.
Definitely not longer.
Okay, perfect. So shorter is easy. Shorter is quick. Shorter is no problem. Longer is harder. So I'm basically going a little bit past the S on most of these. So the pinky was a bit long. So what I can do is I can just take that off. Now remember, our form went way higher up on the pinky. So sometimes you're looking at those lines and sometimes you're really just looking at the space between her nail bed and the end of the extension. Okay, and roll it off. So this is a classic hard gel. Natural is a classic hard gel. So if you only have an LED light that cures for LED gels, it will not cure this gel. You need the wavelength for curing classic UV gels. So, which I believe is 365. If you have a hybrid lamp, you're fine. But if you don't, then you're not really going to be able to use this gel. But I love it because see how smooth it is when you put it out, but it still doesn't move on you. You can look at where the cuticle is on these. See how they haven't moved? If I didn't put the gel there, it doesn't go there, which is why I so love natural. Now, it is going to get hot as it cures. So acrylic can take between 24 hours and 2 weeks to completely harden, depending on the quality of acrylic. Gel takes 2 minutes or less. So sometimes 30 seconds, depends on what gel you're using. So this gel is technically a 2-minute cure, 60 seconds or so if you're using a hybrid lamp as well. And the molecules start moving around and bumping against each other, and they create friction, and friction creates heat. So I'm going to have you coming in and out of the light, and so when you come out, I want you to come all the way out, okay? So go ahead on in, and your goal is just to not bump anything.
Okay.
So in my head, I'm counting to about 8. And then come all the way out.
Yeah.
Already starting to get hot. Here, let me see a hand. Which one's hot?
Baby, that one.
One nail.
Woo.
Part of it is she has damaged nails because she just had her acrylics removed. So you probably, if you're doing a bunch of natural like this, you want to maybe only go 5 seconds. Okay. If they have nails that aren't damaged, then you would go less. Now this is when you would pinch. So if you wanted to pinch their nails, this is when you can go through and give them a little squeeze. But go ahead and let it set out for a second.
Okay. 5 seconds.
No, I'll tell you to go a little less this next time. That was, yeah, your pinky had a little, it was that, remember when I filed unprepped?
Yeah.
That one was the one that got sore. So her pinky nail is actually crazy thin. So that would be why it got hot really fast. But the rest of them should be all right. And what happens is that gel starts to set up even when you're out of the light, because you've already caused a reaction and those molecules are moving around. They're still moving around. So keeping out of the light doesn't harm anything at all. If you're using a runny gel, though, then it's going to continue to run. But because we're using natural, it has no problem. So you can go in for about 3 or 4 seconds. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and come out. And if you keep them out for 4 or 5 seconds and you go in and out 3 or 4 times, it'll cure and continue to cure and there'll be no heat.
Should I go back in?
Sure. I'm going for about 4. So what's important here is to make sure you're getting your stress area. Because we're building new extensions, you don't want them flat for sure. Flat nails will break. And so I'm making sure that I have enough gel when I'm applying this that I have a stress area to file. And by doing her extension in 2 steps, it's going to make it much easier with the second step to do the cuticle area. And I'm actually going to use Trinity for that, just like I would for a fill. This will be uploaded to YouTube. It'll be on my timeline as well. So you can check it out later if you missed it. But I do try to get all of the videos up on YouTube for my lovely YouTube followers. So shout out to those. It's always fun when someone just finds the videos. I have one that just found my videos the other day. She was really sweet. So I'm glad I help people. I know I don't do videos quite as often as I used to. I feel like I run out of things to say. I know.
Is this how people get that clear
glass nails?
Oh, they look awesome.
You should be able to keep that in all the way now.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, yours are basically going to be glass nails. Cool. If I was being super, super finicky and I knew they were going to be glass nails for like a photo shoot or something, yeah, I would be playing with the gel and really like looking with a magnifying glass to make sure there were 0 bubbles. But I haven't been because we're covering with polish. Yeah. But for the most part, as I'm doing it, you will, when I take the forms off, you will see through them just like glass nails. And it's so funny because sometimes people will be like, I want these nails. And it's like, okay, well, they're going to look like that for exactly 3 days. And then your nails are going to grow. So you will have glass nails with a yellow line as your nail grows out. Or a nail colored line. And so they always think that's like, oh. And I'm like, yeah. Pictures are awesome the day you get them done. Yeah. Sometimes it's not real life
Maybe
after.
For like a wedding or something. Special occasion.
Yeah. I mean, but there's no design aspect to it. They're like, in a wedding, you may not even see them, but you can do a nude. Weddings are always interesting. When I do nails for weddings, I'm kind of mean. I don't let anyone do French. They can do baby boomer, they can do a fade, they can't do French.
What's a baby boomer?
Go ahead and put that in. We're going to go 5 seconds. A baby boomer is take that out. Make sure you go in and out. I don't want you to get hot. Yeah. Although you don't have any super damaged on that hand. A baby boomer is a white pink fade. I'm sure you've seen it. They're all over the place. Yep. It's basically a French without a sharp line. All right. So second coat. And this is now going to be Trinity. So when I use Trinity for this coat, because it's very runny, let me see if I can show you guys. See how runny that is? I'm going to be doing 1 nail at a time because I'm putting quite a bit on, and I'm going to flash cure for 2 seconds only. So this is going to be a counting thing. I will count because a lot of people's 2 seconds are not the same as my 2 seconds. And if you go 3 seconds, it gets hot. If you go less than 2 seconds, oh, you had 1 in there too long. Okay, go ahead and put this in 2 seconds. Which one's hot? Pinky again?
They're over it. It's good now.
2 seconds. So you're going to go in.
2? Just the pinky?
Just the whole hand.
Okay.
1, 2, and then out. So that's it. And that freezes your Trinity in place. You just let that cool. No rush.
It was 5 seconds. I think my poor nails are kicked.
Yeah. They won't get hot on fills, especially if you're doing what I'm doing here, which is just doing the 2 seconds in. And if I wasn't talking so much, then I would count your nails and I would make you come out a little more often. Okay, 2 seconds.
Okay.
1, 2, that's it. And again, that's enough to keep the Trinity from moving and gets it curing. And it also prevents it from getting hot because now those molecules are slowing down as you're applying the next nail. And you can float it around a little bit if you need to. This one, it looked like the center of the nail where my arch was going to go was a little low. And over here, it looks like I'm missing a little on the sidewall. So I'm going to add a little bit extra there. 2 seconds. 1, 2.
Should I get these guys back in from there?
Yeah. You should be able to keep those in now. What are the best colors for Baby Boomer? Well, when it comes to Baby Boomer, your pink portion is completely up to your clients. You can use blush, you can use delicate, you can use innocent, you can use demure. All 4 of those make for a great nail bed color for a Baby Boomer, so it's just preference on them. If they want it more pink, if they want it more nude. So I typically will get those 4 out, and I'm like, okay, pick which one you want. For the white portion, your easiest blend is going to be with Koi. And come out. So I noticed that this one must not have been in there quite 2 seconds. It moved on me, so there's a little in the cuticle. So I'm going to show you guys how to use your bit to get that out before you finish file, because you don't want to be getting into this part of their cuticle and causing any damage. Her hands lean just a little bit. Go ahead and put it back in. Yeah. Her hands lean just a little bit, and so that's why it kind of moved a tiny bit. All right, we'll go ahead and take that one back. And that one should be able to stay in. If it starts to get warm and all, you can take it out. Trinity doesn't get as warm as natural. Natural, being a classic UV gel, can get pretty hot, and it takes 3 seconds for you to feel it. So that's why you take it out, and sometimes you start to feel it after you take it out. Woo. And that would be why. Your thumb got hot?
Yeah.
She's startled. It's her first time with gel, but it goes away super fast.
Yeah.
So it should be gone already, and then you can put it in. It's more of just a startling situation. Oh, see, this is my habit of doing 4 nails at once. I still get into this habit sometimes where I'm trying to do too many, and I suffer for it because now this nail is starting to move on me. And I will...
Should we cure it?
Yes.
Like using terms.
Again, you're doing so well. I know, you are. You know what you're talking about.
Too.
Yep. Yeah, sometimes I get in it, you think, okay, I can get 4 nails done or I can get 3 nails done. And then you look back at the pointer finger and you're like, damn it, I shouldn't have done that. Because then your shape isn't there anymore. And like, you can do a fill with a perfect shape with Trinity, get it in the light and set it for 2 seconds, and it'll keep its perfect shape. You go and move on to the next nail, your perfect shape's gone. Then put that in. Hello, Dorothy. Okay. And then Trinity will just finish curing out on her first hand and we'll be ready to file right away. So you're not ever waiting for the light. So this one, her natural had moved to the side a little bit. So I'm just going to make sure when I look down the barrel, I've got enough on both sides. It's better to put too much gel on than not enough. Because if you don't put on enough, then you're filing, and you have to go back and put more on, and it takes more time. So always put on more than what you think, and that way you can file it into the shape that you prefer. So I'm going to keep my Trinity right in the center of the nail. And there are sometimes little bubbles, but again, we're covering this with polish, so I'm not super concerned about little tiny bubbles. Okay, go ahead and put that in. All right. Clean your brushes like this. That is all. If you clean your brushes with a bunch of brush cleaners, you are going to end up with brushes that are sad and crying. And people are probably wondering, what brush am I using? Because I usually don't use this brush on my fills. This is the brush that I use for my full sets, though, is this oval 111, because I can move it around really well. All right, let's pop these forms off. I had someone say on YouTube, oh my gosh, I can't believe how fast you took those forms off. And I'm like, why would you take them off slow? I don't understand. I mean, I guess if you're building like a skeleton where it's very, very, very thin extension, you don't have most of the nail on. So in this case, I should have had her do her thumb up. Her thumb wasn't quite in the light all the way, so you can see that there's a bubble right here. There might still be enough on the nail. I'm a little worried that's not going to be enough right there. So I'm going to go ahead and add just a smidge more. So when you do their thumbs with that much Trinity, it's not a bad idea to put their thumb up in the light. Because if their thumb isn't quite right next to the light right away, gravity is going to pull it down. Gravity is not your friend. Isn't that what they tell us when we age? So while I'm looking at that one, I'll look at the rest. I think all of these are fine. That one has a little low spot, but nothing that I have to worry about. Maybe this little bit here. Oh, that one looks like it got smashed.
Maybe I did that throwing my hands out. Sorry.
It's okay. That poor pinky has been definitely through something.
So two.
No, just keep that one in. There's not enough on there to cause a lot of heat.
Okay.
So I'm used to seeing you with long nails. I know. You must have missed the beginning of my day when I said that my nails are going to get done. I was doing a couples massage class. And I needed to redo them anyway, so I figured I would just redo them after that. And that happened last night, so I haven't done my nails yet. I know, so sad. Look how tiny my hands are. So tiny. The class at the Oregon show, if you have not signed up, there's plenty of space. We have big meeting rooms, so no worries. Nope, you're going to need to put your feet down. It's going to be really hard for you to get under the table.
Okay.
Sorry.
Give you that?
Yeah, I know. I have to teach her proper nail client etiquette. Clients that spin, their whole hands actually tweak, and then we can't rotate them properly.
Gotcha.
She was trying to cross her legs under the table like a fancy lady. Okay, let me toss all these. Let's look at this thumb since the other one did it. This one got in the light perfectly fine. So do you see the difference? The other one wasn't quite in the light enough, and so that's why gravity had pushed it over. This one's fine. So we don't need to add any extra on that. So we're going to take this off. That one's cured enough now. Just going to take all the tacky off, everything. Now I'm going to start in my danger spot, which is right here. And the reason for that is because I want to make sure I'm not trying to rake on it with my file. And I'm going to use my 2S, which is my prep bit. I used it on her when I was prepping her nails earlier. I did prep them before we started because I figured y'all don't need to see me do another video on prep. But this is my prep bit. So what you want to do is you want to pull the skin away. And I'm just going to glide it down this groove. And now all of that product is now out of her corner of her nail. Ow. I just banged my hand on the edge of the table. She's interested with her.
Intrigued.
Aren't they crazy?
Mm-hmm.
She's looking at her dagger nails, the icicle nails. Right. That's what I always feel like they look like, is icicles. So I'm just going to push around the cuticle here and just make sure there's nothing left here. And do you see how that loosened all of that up and it's completely fine now? So if you wanted to do this on other nails, like say you see this one has a little bit here, that's where that form was so high, go around and do the same thing. You're just going to very lightly get in the groove of the nail and smooth that out. I don't do this on all the nails because I should have a good gap so that I can file the nails. All of the nails, I try to leave a good 1 week gap right here. Do you guys see that? Do you see the 1 week gap? That's where your file is going to get in and give you a completely smooth surface. All right, I'm going to switch bits and we're going to take all the icicles off. All right, both hands. If you need to scoot your chair up, you can. You might be feeling like you're leaning far. You're welcome to. It's not on wheels though, because then people like,
Yes.
sprawl. All right. So I'm going to take all the icicles off. To do this, you want your bit straight up and down as I'm going across. It's at a 90-degree angle with the nail. I'm probably going about a medium speed. I don't want to go too fast. Gel files so easily, and I don't want to over file her nails at this point. I just want to get my basic tip shape in, or lengthen anyway. I know seeing a full set is a bit unusual. I've only done a couple of them because most of my videos are on all my regulars. All right, so now I'm going to do my filing technique. So you want to make sure that you have somewhat of a filing method. You want to pull your skin down. I come up straight and I roll up. This is a technique that Vicki Peters taught me. Oh, forever ago. My lovely old friend. Miss her. And then I will sometimes come all the way around the nails straight from there because I'm already focused in on this side of the nail. So it really just depends on how you like to file. Some people, will teach you have to go and do every single sidewall at the same time. Now, the benefit to this is that your arm is tucked in on the side of your body, and you are giving the nail the exact same sidewall on every single one because you're not changing your position at all. So you're rolling and you're doing every single nail on the exact same side. Same with this. You keep the same position and your arm's in the same position. The side of your nails are going to be in the same angle as long as you're grabbing their fingers the same. Pull the skin back if it's that close. And roll up. Come up underneath and roll up. Come up underneath and roll up. So if you're trying to learn a file method to speed up your time, so you can see now she now has 2 straight sidewalls very quickly, very easily. So is this going to be about a good length for you?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Aw, Julie said she would manage to catch a live session and her day is made. So sweet, Julie. All right, so now I'm very, very carefully go around the cuticle. I want to blend this in completely. I don't want to see any kind of line where the nail ends and her natural nail begins. I want it to be completely blended. It's how you're going to have a nice, smooth grow out. You're not touching the center of the nail. The last thing you want to touch is the center of the nail. That's where your stress area is. All right, so after I go around the cuticle and I make sure this is all smooth, I'm going to hold up the front of the nail and I'm going to glide. You don't want to bounce. If you bounce and you're doing this, you're going to create all kinds of divots and bumps all over the nail. Put your file on the nail, look down the barrel, and just glide back and forth. And as the nail gets thin in one spot, you move along. And that way you can see that your free edge has the same thickness from one side all the way to the other, and it's completely smooth. And you can go in on this side, and if you want to taper them in a little bit, which I saw her nails yesterday, and she had them a little tapered, so I'm going to taper them in just a little bit for her. Since that is definitely what she's used to, and it looks nice. Okay, and then after you've done all of your shaping, then go through and finish your arch. And looking at it from the side, you should have a nice apex. Your nail should not be flat. This is what's going to keep them from breaking. It doesn't need to be high. This is where you can lower it down. It's always going to be higher after you put your gel on because you need to have enough there to file. But she's a bartender, so she needs the strength so she doesn't break her nails. Especially until her natural nails grow out. Once her natural nails grow out, the apex can be quite low. There's a lot of strength that comes with your own natural nails being completely grown out. All right. Eileen said you never heard to do what? What did you never hear to do? Do tell. What did I just say that was something I hadn't heard before? I would like to know.
Maybe not touch the apex.
I don't know. It's possible. All right, so blend, blend, blend. Blend all the way around. So you can still see there's a line here. That's what you're looking for. You want no lines. Once that's all blended, your cuticle area is blended. Make sure that's smooth. Hold it up in the front and glide. If you feel like you're taking off too much product, flip your file over and use the 180 side instead of the 100 side. I go back and forth constantly. 180, you're gonna take less off at once. I feel like my paper is coming off. It is, I can hear it. Did you guys hear that? That's how long I've been doing nails. I can feel when the paper feels funny. I'm getting a little separation on my file and I could hear the difference and I didn't see it, but I could hear it. Just gonna turn my file around.
Can't hear anything. Working in nightclubs for 20 years, I'm like, what?
Oh my gosh, I can't even imagine. I'm like, I don't think I ever had the enjoyment of going to nightclubs because I can't talk to anybody.
Yeah, right?
I'm like, I guess it's people watching, but then like you're there with people, so you want to talk to the people, but then you can't talk to anybody because it's too loud.
Or you don't want to talk to anybody because creeps.
Right? Taper that in a little bit.
I was watching a guy systematically annoy every female. Leave them alone.
Do you work at the same bar as Heidi?
No.
No. Oh, the sides on each, filing the sides. Yes, that's a Vicky move. It's a really big time saver, and it helps with competitions and stuff because you are able to get a very consistent, quick sidewall shape. Yeah. Vicky used to come teach at camp. She helped us organize and get camp going back in the day when it was brand new. She was awesome. She died years ago.
Do you do a camp?
I do.
That's awesome.
Yes, I run nail camp in 2 places, typically every year. I've been doing it for 10 years. This year I'm doing my 11th and 12th ones. Last year I did Atlanta and Idaho. In April we go to Maryland and doing one there. And then I'm working on my location for the West Coast side this year. It'll ideally be in Southern California. I'm just trying to find the right place and one that's available and has enough space. A lot of them will have enough sleeping space and not enough meeting space because a lot of their meeting spaces are like archery and things to do outside, which doesn't help us when we're not doing anything outside. So it's a little tricky to find locations. The one in Maryland is, oh my gosh, so nice.
Do you see a difference of how, like, whatever is trending in nail art versus, for each state that you go to?
No, because we have people from, last count I did, 22 states going to Maryland. So it's a lot of people from all over. I move it around now more. I used to do it just here in the States, or in Washington on Vashon. But I started moving it around because I wanted to reach people that have never been up here to Washington or like, I'm not going to go all the way up there to go to a nail thing. Yeah. So I started deciding, okay, I'm going to start moving it around because I don't mind traveling. My husband doesn't mind traveling. It's a lot more work, but it's reaches people that have never been able to do anything like that or don't have the opportunity for a lot of classes. This year, the trade show that was in Philadelphia that a lot of nail techs would go to for classes has been canceled. So we are just an hour outside Philadelphia. So a lot of nail techs that are maybe in that area might be able to come and join us. And they get 4 days of classes as opposed to a trade show, which is just you know, couple days of 1 hour demos. They get all kinds of hands-on stuff. Oh, hi, Leanne. Come Canada. She came to Idaho last year. Yeah, I was hoping that there might be some from, you know, Toronto or Montreal that come down. I was trying to work with Erin into making I'm going to go into this corner here because I see it's pretty close here. Not with this, with this. I want to get into this corner. Do you guys see that? It's just, hello. It's just a little bit here where it's catching. Like if I were to run my nail there, you can see that. So anyway, I want to get in here and smooth that out with my bit because it's a little bit better than trying to go to town with my e-file right there next to her skin. That's all. Easy peasy. Why don't I do all of my finish filing with an electric file? I just don't. I haven't since I started. I'm way too particular, and I can't be as particular using an e-file as I can hand filing. So I always finish file full sets and new nails by hand. That being said, it's also why I don't like to finish file fills, and that's why my fills are always done in such a way so that they're perfect and don't need a finish filing. The sound of that paper is weird.
Sorry.
That paper sound when I turn it the wrong way is like creeping me out a little bit.
Chalkboard.
Yeah, I might have to just change that file over before I do the other hand. So looking down the barrel, see that your apex is where you want it. Everything is thinned out on the free edge and centered. You can check it from the side. And if you need to smooth anything out, now's the time. And then you can check each one side by side by side and see if your apex has consistency. You don't want one way in the back and one way in the front. You want to glide it along and make sure that they've got consistency and that they're similar. And then I'm just going to do a quick length check on these. It's just a smidge long. This nail, like most pointers, go like this a little bit. There's a comedy show where she goes, someone's like, this one's crooked. And she goes, your nail, they go like this. And on pointer fingers, it's so true because so many pointer fingers don't grow this way. They grow at an angle.
Like mine?
Like, yeah, everybody's. So many. And you kind of have to tweak for it. Hi, Nancy. All right. Get this under there. Roll it up. So there's quite a bit of excess in this corner. So you want to hit it with your good, nice hard file that I just prepped, which is great. Because there's a bit more gel on this one than needs to be. Just because it had moved. And again, if you're worried that it's too close to the cuticle there, use your 2S bit. And you can start to work around here just a little bit. Now, I don't do a lot around there with that bit. That's mostly for prepping. But if I need to get real close to the side there, that does a really good job. And your file should fall right into that 1 week gap so that when you smooth out your nail, you have a completely smooth area. If you're new and you're not used to running your gels and you do have a problem keeping a 1 week gap, aim for a 2 week gap because it's going to move on you. So don't get it as close to the cuticle. It's better that it doesn't get in the cuticle than you have a little bit of a gap. Your color is going to go there, so it's not a problem. So what I'm doing is I'm just checking the length from the tip of her nail to her finger and kind of gauging how big that is in comparison, and then I can go for her thumb that way. It's kind of a very untechnical way to do it, but it works pretty well. For a long time, years, I started doing that where I would check length just by doing this. And it's pretty spot on, but it's not as accurate as checking from cuticle to free edge, which I learned in competition. I didn't know the difference, but at the time I would just do this, and clients would be like, one of them was like, why are you pushing on my finger? I'm like, I don't know. She's like, you don't know? I'm like, what are you talking about? And she had to tell me. She's like, there, then. And I'm like, oh, I'm checking for length. I didn't even know I did it. It was just kind of one of those things. It's weird. How does it feel?
It feels good, and they look amazing
Does
already.
it feel so light?
Yes.
Isn't that so different than acrylic? All right, so I'm going to do the thing where I position my arm down. I'm going to go sidewall, next finger. I'm not moving this arm at all. I'm not moving my body. I'm keeping it so that I can keep my fingers straight, and your sidewalls are going to stay straight. It's a good time saver if you're having a hard time keeping your time up when you're doing your nails for your clients, or if you're trying to save on some time. I have a time saver workshop I did at camp last year, and went pretty well, I think. But I talked a lot about things like online booking as well, because I think it's essential. It saves so much time. And using a gel like Trinity that doesn't require a bunch of primers or bonding gels. It's one coat. You're basically replacing your base coat with gel polish with hard gel, and that's it. So a couple different tricks to do to make sure that you get done. Did I use any primers or base gel? I used No Lift primer, and I used Trinity for my base gel. This will be uploaded, and it'll also be on YouTube, so if you needed to come back and look at it later, you're welcome to. Hopefully it helps somebody learn something. So again, you can see there's dust in the line there. You want to file that smooth until you're not going to see any of that. Then hold up your free edge and glide. Don't bounce. And I'm working that bottom 1/3 to 1/2 of the nail. And then looking at it from the side, now I'm going to go ahead and perfect my arch. Make sure everything is smooth. A little bit different shape than you've had before. Her nails get taken off were really flat. So I knew this was going to be a bit of a change for you. I got really lucky, guys. Miss Rita here, she's a massage therapist. One of my clients actually found me a massage therapist that was ready to trade. I know, you all are jealous right now. It's true.
I feel pretty lucky.
It's hard. Like, I've been doing this for almost 20 years, and I've never been able to find a massage therapist that has nails on to be able to trade with. So she's like, have you ever thought about trading? Heidi, one of my other clients, is the one who hooked us up. Heidi says, you ever thought about trading for massage? I'm like, yeah, I'd love to, but massage therapists always have no nails. She goes, I know someone that has nails. I'm like, and does massage? She's like, yeah. I'm like, yes, please.
I keep them pretty short, and like you saw yesterday, if you put on a really thin latex glove.
Well, and even that, there was only a couple times where I even felt that you had nails on. Yeah. And now that I've participated in a massage class, I realized that there's not so much fingertip action that has to happen anyway. It was really fun. You should do it with your husband. Make him go do it with you. Be a good learning experience.
I know that he knows because I've given him a massage, and then after the massage, he gave me a massage, and he did exactly what I did.
Oh, that's
but
good.
now that we're married,
does not work quite the
he
same.
doesn't know what he's doing at all. He's totally confused.
Yeah, if you're in the Seattle area, Groupon has a couples massage class. And we went, and you're not getting like some kid who just finished massage school is trying to make money. You're getting one of the teachers from the massage school. He like competes in Europe and stuff. It was crazy. I don't know. They had massage competitions. I don't know why I didn't think they didn't have massage competitions. They have competitions for everything.
Yeah.
So I guess I shouldn't be that confused about that. But I'm like, how do you have a massage competition? Then he was telling us about he was showing us these crazy, practically yoga moves to get these different areas of the body. I'm like, this is nuts. So if you want a fun date night with your hubs, it's a good Valentine's present. You can get them for Valentine's Day. But we had a really good time. It was fun. And my husband was a big poker when it came to massages. And now he doesn't poke. It's great. Nothing. Mr. Jared walked by and heard me.
Telling everybody about our date night.
I was telling people that live in Seattle they should go do couples massage classes. It was fun.
Yeah, it's fun.
And I'm certainly not going to rely on him to fix me. That's your job now.
Did you like the cups?
Yeah, I thought it was interesting. I mean, I didn't feel them after a second.
It's kind of just like another.
But if it works, then cool. I'm all for things that can work. This one's a bit bowed, so I'm going to make sure I taper this in. There's a lot of product on here, so I'm going to thin that out. And again, you want to glide. You know, when you're filing over the nail, the more you bounce, the more bumpy it's going to be. If you're doing competition, there's a lot more filing that gets into, you got to turn it around and look down the barrel and look at different angles and do all kinds of things that you don't really do for salon nails. So that's right. Ah, Chippy. She's very sweet. For my YouTubers, Chippy just said, here, I'll let you read, because that's hard for me to read and file. I don't know, somewhere up there.
No matter how many times I watch you do a set or how many classes I take, I always learn something new. Aww.
Isn't that nice? That's why I turn on the camera, hope that somebody learns something.
See, we got anyone else enjoying this class in their bathroom and slippers?
I have slippers on because I work from home now, so I'm going to tell y'all a little secret. I have a little studio from home, and my feet were always cold, like this winter, like just cold all the time. And I was getting annoyed with it, and one day I decided I need like a heating pad on my feet. And then I'm like, well, how am I going to make that go through like my boots? And then I realized that if I wore my slippers that were just like soft sole slippers, and I put a heating pad under my feet, I could have warm feet all day.
Yeah, I have slippers on
I
right
have
now.
a heating pad under there. Yeah, you could put your feet on the heating pad, and then they'll be nice and warm.
Yeah, I feel like
genius.
I haven't been warm in like 3 days.
Well, it's not even like really compared to so many other places. It's not that cold, but I now have warm feet all day. It's my favorite thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, note to self, y'all.
Ugly.
How can I have clients with stiff hands loosen up? This, my friend, is essential. This is the wrist assist. Someone asked to see what the small one is. The small one basically just has a much skinnier pad, but I like the lift of the big pad. This requires your clients to move with you. When their wrist is on this, they kind of have zero choice. Let's see my home setup. Oh my goodness. All right, here you go. Well, one, here's the tree I told y'all I would have. Let's see, am I sideways? There's the tree. There's some options and stamping polish and all of my Lexio. Let's see. And there's the very important, see how my Lexio is so pretty. My very important TV. So the reason, and there's like pedicure, coffee bar, waiting seat, chair thing. Okay.
So cute.
I know. You can have coffee or Italian sodas over there. By all means, you can take some to go too. So don't be afraid. Don't be shy. So looking at this from the side, I can see the shape as well. This one's too high, so I'm going to file that shape down, but the length is fine. Another way to get your clients to not stiffen up is if you have the ability, have a TV. Normally I have like interesting documentaries running. Earlier I was running Inventions That Shook the World, which was very fascinating. It's things that I had no idea how, like, do you know Einstein was like helping do the refrigerator? I mean, really, who knew? Anyway, there was a little bit in there that I couldn't quite get with my file, and I didn't want to keep going at it. So use your bit. It's essential, helpful for sure. I'm going to take this arch down because it was too high, as you saw when you held them next to each other. Anyway, if you can, have a TV in the background. I have some clients who will look at their nails the entire time unless I have something for them to watch. And if they're looking at their nails, you can't see their nails, and you're doing a constant battle of, all right, so now my arch is the same. It's a constant like tug of war, and I feel like I'm arm wrestling all day, and that's not fun. So I honestly, and there's some people that when they come in, like it's almost on mute because I know they're going to chat the entire time, which is fine. But as long as they're chatting and not staring at their nails, it's cool. But the minute they're not talking and there's nothing, and they're not looking at something, they're going to try looking at their nails. So I have the TV, and it's super helpful. And poor Jessica, when she went to Maine, I said, how's life without a TV? She's like, oh my God, I miss it. Because you do. It's a lot more work to entertain your clients without one because you've got to talk the whole time. And when I pull 14-hour days, I can't talk for 14 hours. I know y'all may think I can. I can't. All right, so I shortened that a little bit. I thinned it down. And when you shorten a nail, you have to redo your entire arch. So you can't just leave it. You have to go through and reshape the entire nail. So it's really important that when you do those first few nails, you have your clients look at them and say, is this the length you want? Because if you file and shape all 10 nails and they're like, these are probably a little bit too long, and you have to shorten and reshape all of the nails again, you're going to add a good 15 minutes onto your time. So make sure that you are checking after the first few nails, or you're going to be filing for an eternity. This pinky has a longer nail bed than the other one. Just want to make sure they're even. So
That problematic pinky.
Yeah, it's not problematic. We just want to make sure when you have the color on it. The reason it's important to do the length from the cuticle to the tip is when you have the product on it and the color, you have no idea how long the pink of your nail is. But when you put one nail next to the other one, if they're not the same length, you're going to notice that, but you're not going to know what your nail bed looks like. All right, so one last thing I do when I file a full set a lot of the time is I will go through and push back the cuticle one more time. There's two reasons for this. One, I can see if there's anywhere that I missed getting it smooth. And two, it helps pull any dust. I guess three reasons. It pulls any dust that might be sitting underneath there from the filing up. And then it also gives your cuticles one last push before you put on your polish, which is going to give you a longer lasting polish application because your skin moves back over it. That's the writing finger, so I want to make sure that that's done well. Aw, Gail, that's no fun. Well, she'll be at camp, so we all get to see her in about 6 weeks. We still have about 25 spaces, I think, left at camp. Maybe. Last I checked. So if you know anyone wanting to get in, get them to register because I want to make sure they have a space, they have a t-shirt that fits them, all of that stuff. So tell them to at least get their deposit in so we know we are good to go. All right, so again, just going to push back cuticles. It's going to make sure that there's nothing to get stuck on. Your cuticle pusher is going to feel it. Do you see this line is here now? That means that that's not smooth. You want it all smooth. If it's all smooth, your polish is going to grow out perfect without any ledges. So this is good to do anytime you're doing a finish file on a nail. Gets everything cleaned out. Make sure everything is perfect. So did you want to go with Prim? Did you want to glance at the colors again? Or did you like that one?
Remembering.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe. No, let's just do Prim.
Okay.
Just contemplating if a friend who wants to do some bling on a tooth. She does tooth bling. So I thought it might be cute to have one blinged out nail with a blinged out tooth.
Well, it might be distracting in your other photo shoot situation. Yeah. Tell her to teeth bling the picture. We can do that next time. Tell her you have photo shoots at every appointment and that you must have the right outfit for each photo shoot and your nails to match. I saw one person with that once. I thought it was interesting. Like, what happens when you accidentally eat it?
They're actually so tiny that you can just swallow them.
Awesome. Not something I want to do anytime soon.
I feel like I swallowed worse. Just kidding.
That's true. Well, and I'm sure realistically, I probably swallowed them, taking them off people sometimes. So, we are going to use this lovely color that I just got all dusty, called Prim. It's from our spring collection, I believe, last year. And you don't need to do anything else with these. Once you've gotten them dusted, you're good to go. Just go straight to your color. And you don't need to buff. If you want to buff, you can. If you are using a gel polish that is made with polish and gel, like shellac or gelish or any of those, if you can smell it and it smells like nail polish, it's a good chance you're probably working with something that is made with polish and gel. Those have to be applied very, very, very thin. And people might find that they get more bumps on the nail. So in that case, maybe hit it with a buffing block just so that you don't see any bumps. With this is 100% gel. So I can apply it in such a way that it's going to smooth any bumps out and it's going to be perfect application.
Did you do just one coat?
Nope, 2. You could technically, but I always do 2. If I'm doing like a glitter or something over the top, then I'll do 1. Just to keep the nails from getting thicker. But again, as your nails grow out, the arch that's in them right now, that has that curve, is going to flatten. So they're going to go flatter and flatter. Once your natural nails grown out, they're going to look like you just have perfect natural nails. But this arch is because you tend to break them before, and I want to make sure you're not going to break these, especially because I'm going to be gone. I can't fix them, so no broken nails allowed at all.
Oh, you're going on your trip, right?
Yes. So excited. It's my husband's friend's birthday. Him and his wife's birthday was last month, and they were like, we want to go on a cruise, but we don't have passports, and we aren't going to get passports, but we want it to be cheap. I'm like, this is very limiting, but I found one. Super cheap, $350 out of New Orleans, which is about as cheap of a cruise I've ever seen. And I just had to use a ridiculous amount of miles to get there. We could have gone to Europe for that. That's got to go in the light, please.
Okay.
It's not going to get hot or anything.
Okay.
Just make sure all the nails, including the thumb, are in there good. And will you put on Facebook group when the classes are getting near full? I'm worried I won't have the funds together before the classes won't fill up. Why don't you, if you have certain classes that you want, email or text the educator for that class and ask them to save you a spot and let them know you're already registered for camp. You just need to register for the class still, and let them know. I do not control any of those workshops. Those are all done directly with the educators. But yes, they do have a limit of 12. So if there was one that you specifically want, but you haven't been able to, put together the $100 or whatever it is for that class, just email the educators. Everyone's super cool, and I'm sure it'll be just fine. They can save you a spot. No problem. But yeah, we do want to get the last 25 spots or so filled up. So please, if you know any nail techs in the Northeast, let them know. I always feel really bad for nail techs when they find out about camp. And it was like half an hour away from where they live. And they're like, oh my gosh, I just found out about it. And it was 2 weeks after camp. So because we're moving around, it's not going to be in Maryland in this area or even in the Northeast really for quite a few years still. We're going to be going south and then a little bit further east and then more north. So this is going to be the closest it's going to be for anyone in New York, New Jersey, Boston, anywhere up there. So if you know anyone thinking about doing nail camp, definitely let them know. If they're in the Northeast, this is the year to go if they want to stay close.
Patty was wondering where you got your bit.
Oh, I sell them at lovenails.com. So that football bit is the 2S bit. So 2S, 2 sharp. 2 sharp football. It's my favorite bit. So if you find it and you're reading the information on it, it says Jess's favorite bit. So that would be it. You're so welcome, Eileen. I'm glad you were able to learn something. We shall see you at camp, my dear. Eileen was the one, she actually did the video for camp last year, which was awesome. If you go to nailcamp.org, you can watch a video about last year that she put together all the pictures and everything. This is, okay, so what happens when this happens? So this happens sometimes with shape or I didn't check it before it went in. Take your bit, same thing you did before, and I'm just going to glide it down. And sometimes you are going to find that it's still wet in that spot. But you do that. And I should have checked it before it went in the light, but I was probably talking. Shocking. And just remove that bit of gel that got on the skin. Because we don't want any of that to happen. We want it to be perfectly smooth. Alright, so now we have a completely smooth sidewall here. Your second coat's going to be fine all by itself. If you want to, you can file this a little bit, but you just have to make sure that you really get the dust out of that. Alright, so what I can do with this is I can do the 2 fingers, and just to make sure it doesn't happen again, I can go ahead and put this hand in the light and let these 2 cure while I go to the other hand. There's a fuzz. My fingernails normally catch fuzz and I have no nails. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and put these in because I don't want it to sit too long and then my color starts moving and it's a problem. Go ahead and put that in. I'll just switch over. No problem. No harm, no foul. It doesn't hurt anything to just switch and continue with the other hand. So if you need to, do it. And push your color up as close to the cuticle as you can. Trying not to get it in the cuticle, of course. Cuticle area. I guess if I say cuticle, some people who are big science freaks get mad because it's not the scientific word. Do you want this to have a little shimmer, or do you prefer flat, or do you like nude?
I don't know. What's
all
nude?
These options? Or shiny. Sorry, shiny, sparkly, or matte.
I kind of like matte.
Go ahead and put that in. Okay, so we'll switch to matte top coat, which is a lovely look. Very popular these days. Hi, Monique. I always wonder, Monique, do you go by Mo? Because my clients that are also named Monique, one of them goes by Mo, and I think it's cute. But I never know if you go by Mo or Monique. Even though I've seen you many times at classes. She just had this gorgeous kitchen remodel. It's so fun to be connected with people from Facebook. Do you have any friends that have done anything interesting lately?
Oh, I was totally absorbed in the Arctic on your screen, and then looking at this. Do you have any?
I know, wouldn't that be cool?
Yeah, it's crazy to think.
One of my clients has a friend that's on a 4-month cruise around the world, and they just went down to Antarctica before they're going up to like New Zealand and Australia and stuff. And I'm like, wow.
She must really feel.
Can't imagine
4 months on the same cruise ship, like.
It's like your house.
I mean,
it's like your own home.
Long time to be vacationing
house.
with people.
Yeah, I mean, you hope that you're enjoying who you're hanging out with. That's for sure.
Right.
Hi, Kimberly. Oh, that's so nice. Thank you. I'm so glad that you enjoyed hanging out with us today. I know it's a rare thing on a Sunday. Sunday is when I do my trades. My hair girl, my lash girl, now this lovely massage girl.
Yeah, your lashes look good.
I do. I love when they're fresh. Yeah, this morning.
Yeah, they look bomb.
Yeah. All fresh and fabulous. Now I just need a facial, girl. I'll be good to go.
I got one.
Do you? Just talk to her. Well, does she do nails?
She does.
She has nails on?
Yeah.
Okay, then you definitely need to talk to her.
Yeah.
Because it's, again, another industry where people, like, typically keep their nails short, so it's hard. I'm like...
She keeps them really short, but she does like to have them...
But you did an amazing face massage with nails on, so I don't know why anyone needs to keep them short, because that was a great job.
Yeah, I had 2 that had fallen off, and I was really, like... I hadn't been able in so long to, like, just get into, like, the neck muscles and stuff. I was telling my husband, I was like... Now I don't know how long I want to get them.
You need to put on those little rubber fingertips when you need to do neck muscles.
Yes, that's really smart. I never even thought about that.
Yeah, then that would be like a thimble.
Yeah.
But you'd be able to like push and no one would know the difference.
Nice. That is what I'm going to do.
I love helping everybody.
They're for sewing, right?
No, you're going to find them in the office supply. They're for people that deal with paper.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah.
So you don't have to lick your fingertips?
Right. Mm-hmm. So that you can count paper and stuff.
It's always terrifying when you see people licking dollars. Or licking their fingers and then touching dollars. You're like,
it's like,
ah.
Ew.
The mom in me.
Oh, that's great, Patty. I'm so glad you learned something new. All right, so mat. My favorite mat. So I've just started carrying Ugly Duckling in my store, and the mat from Ugly Duckling has won awards 2 or 3 years in a row. It's the best mat there is. So we're going to mat these bad boys up. Except I want to give it a good shake. Typically when I pull up the mat, if it looks a little bit clear, I feel like it needs to be mixed a little bit more. Whatever it is that makes it matte can sometimes settle. And I feel like a really good mix and getting that back up into the brush is really helpful. We're looking at the Arctic. Here, you guys want to see?
Crazy to believe things live there.
It's like really cool.
So pretty.
Where is it? My thing will normally tell me. Maybe. There it is. Oh, Greenland.
Greenland.
Not very green.
Nope. Not a lot of land.
All right.
It's like water.
Sorry for the... Then...
Sorry.
That's okay. All right, so you want to give this a nice coating. It's not going to look matte until it's completely cured and you remove the tacky layer. People will often go, when they come out after it gets cured, and they're like, it's still shiny. I'm like, I'm not done yet. So give it a second. I will make it matte. And oops, she moved right into my brush. So when that happens, you want to make sure you get that out.
So I know you're Jess, but it seems like we keep talking about another Jess.
So I have a friend, Jessica White, and my salon that I had in Country Village, she used to work with me there. So she had started coming to nail camp and stalking me, for lack of better words. I lovingly say that because my favorite people are the ones that were my stalkers for a while. Stephanie, Carrie. But yeah, so she would come to nail camp and just hang out at my booth and watch me for days. if you put too much on, when you turn it, it's going to roll. So you want to double check it. And this is the one where it had gone in the cuticle. So especially if you're putting it on a little bit thicker, which I was, I'm going to go through and make sure that I've not got cuticle mess, which these are all a little bit. Make sure everything is good. Okay, in the light, please. And Stephanie said she stalked me. She did. She's one of my favorite stalkers. She used to come to the trade shows in Vegas and stuff. Anyway, so yeah, I had some people that used to just come. They'd hang out with me at trade shows or classes or whatever. And so Jessica always did. And then when I moved into Country Village, I needed someone to come help me because shipping orders and product. And I was like, if I can do less shipping and more clients, then that would be good for my clients. So I had her come work with me, and she was there for a year, maybe a year and a half, 2 years, I can't remember. But she moved to Maine, far, far away. So sad. But, you know, it's better for her. They have a huge house on a nice big piece of property now. And so it's, you know, so much cheaper to live out there than it is here. And her husband had hated his job here, so he was ready to get out. And she's got a nice salon now that she's working at, so that's working out for her. So it's good. And at least with nail camp, I bring her in and she works my booth, so I get to see her every couple times a year. So that's nice. But it was good to train her up. But yeah, we were two Jesses working in the same place.
Fun.
Mm-hmm. So people be like, I want to see Jess. I'm like, pick one. So when the light goes out, you can come out.
Okay.
In the meantime, I'm going to clean up my stuff here. I did this morning. I did Fairy, and I didn't take a picture of it, and I wanted to, so I'm just going to show you real quick while we're waiting for her top coat. I did Fairy with the luminescent, which one is this? Pearl? Luminous Orchid. No, I didn't do this one. I did it with the Pearl. That's what it looks like with the Orchid. And I'll show you what it looks like with the way I actually did it. Oh yeah, I hand file. I'll always hand file for sure. Okay, so this is the Luminous Pearl over Fairy, which is one of our most popular spring colors. So if you don't have it yet, get this Luminous Pearl and do a swatch for your clients, because those that want a little bit of shimmer but love Fairy are going to love this.
Yeah, it looks pretty.
Isn't that pretty? So really, really pretty. The Orchid was pretty too, but it gives a little bit of a purple hue. This one's a really gorgeous, gorgeous pink hue. So just because we're waiting for top coat. There you go. And the only reason I put this on with the new swatches is because I wanted to show people the difference between Lustful and Fairy. This is the new Lustful. It's got a little bit more warm tone than Fairy. Okay. So these are done almost. So you got to give that a good scrub. That's going to remove any tacky. Now you're going to see that they're totally matte. And then I always still, even though it's not a fill, I always do a sharp edges on the side just to make sure that any of your color or top coat, if it moved, it's not going to make a sharp spot. Always, always, always. You don't have to worry about breaking a seal. Luxio is not finicky like that. That's a lot of gel polishes, not Luxio. So you don't have a problem. Then I always am going to take my bit, and you want to give their nails a nice thin free edge. So you're going to thin that out. Okay, thin out their free edge from right underneath. And I'm doing it at an angle, so I'm not taking off a ton of their nail. I'm just giving their free edge the illusion of a very thin extension. And that way they don't have what looks like thicker nails. Even though she's got much more of an arch than she did before, a lot of people have this kind of natural arch shape, so she doesn't look like she's weird. It's just she had very flat nails before. Now she's got an arch and they're not going to break. And those are done. Now you can oil them, but I typically don't oil the matte ones because it'll take the matte away and we'll start making it shiny. A couple tricks when you wear matte. If you are using a lot of lotions or something and you notice, or you're using massage oils, if you notice they're shiny or maybe right after a massage, clean them with alcohol or acetone really well, and it'll help get the oils off of them and give them matte again. They won't look bad. They'll just start developing a sheen and look shinier.
Nice. No one ever told me that.
Have you had matte before?
I have.
Oh. Yes. Clean your mat. Clean your mat and it'll stay matte.
Now I have another reason, though, to wear gloves and not feel bad.
Yeah, totally.
You know, honestly, though, do your hands get sore from all the... You know, you work with your fingers a lot. At doing massage, my hands were getting so sore.
Well, I get cracks along the side here really badly, and my hands get really dry. I know some nail techs are huge glove people. If I do my nails tonight, I'll be wearing gloves until I leave on my vacation, just so that I don't screw my nails up. But I hate wearing them. I can't wear them when I apply product, but I can wear them when I file, and it's okay. And that's where I mess them up the most anyway. Mm-hmm. But what I did find out, which is hilarious, is my computer has like the touch to turn on where it does fingerprint touch, and it wasn't working with my this fingerprint. I'd keep pressing it and it would never work, and I'm like, this is dumb. And I finally went, you know what, I probably file this fingerprint off constantly and it wasn't registering it, so I switched to my pinky and it works every time. So alrighty guys, this is her matte nails new set. I did a before. I'll do a before and after picture and post it online with the YouTube link. So if you are wanting to see it, that would be good. I'll probably oil these and then clean them real quick just so our fingers look good for the picture. But I hope you all learned something new, and we will catch you guys later. Bye.